This is Chapultepec Castle in Mexico City. And if it's giving you flashbacks to Leonardo DiCaprio in a night costume staring at Claire Danes through a fish tank, that's because this was Capulet Mansion in 1996 Romeo and Juliet. Fun fact, the big ballroom scene was actually a studio set, but the mansion itself, you are looking at it. And today we are going inside, but we have to get there first. So the plan this morning is pretty simple. We're grabbing an Uber from our Airbnb straight to Chapultepec Park. Uber is everywhere in Mexico City. It's cheap, and honestly, it's the easiest way to move around here. We will then walk to the Angel of Independence and then make our way back to our Airbnb. Before you even start the climb, you walk right past this, the monument to the Niños Héroes, the boy heroes. Quick story because it matters here. Back in 1847, during the war between the US and Mexico, this castle was actually a military academy. When American forces stormed the hill, 6 young cadets, some of them teenagers, refused to retreat and died defending it. So these 6 columns, one for each cadet. In Mexico, these guys are a huge deal. You'll see street signs and metro stations named after them all over the city. And knowing that story kind of changes how you look at the castle on the way up. Here's what makes this place special. This is the only castle in North America that actually housed royalty. Real emperors lived here. Maximilian and Carlota back in the 1860s. And they picked a good spot because look at that view. Inside the castle is split into 2 personalities. One half is the National History Museum. Mexico's story from conquest through revolution. And this is where it gets good. The murals in here are enormous. Full walls and staircases painted by some of Mexico's most famous muralists. You don't need to know the history going on. The paintings basically grab you by the collar and tell you. And look at that courtyard. Looks like it's time for a fridge magnet. Okay, this green stone looks like jade. It's actually malachite, and it's all the way from Russia. These doors were made for the very first World's Fair in 1851, and they were sent by the Tsar himself, and somehow ended up here, inside a castle in Mexico City. So here we're 200 feet above the city, and Paseo de la Reforma, Mexico City's grandest avenue, runs in a straight line from the base of this hill. And that's not an accident. Maximilian had it built that way so he could ride directly from his castle to the center of town. And now we head up to the actual royal residence. Real royalty lived up these stairs. Maximilian and Carlotta, an Austrian archduke and a Belgian princess, running an empire from a hilltop in Mexico. And what's cool is the rooms are just preserved. You walk the hallway and look right into the world. Bedrooms, sitting rooms, the furniture, the fabrics, all of it staged like they stepped out 10 minutes ago and might be back. Then you turn the corner and hit the carriages. Look at this thing. This is how an emperor commuted. Gold trim, velvet, the works. Remember that dead straight avenue we saw at the terrace? This is what rolled down it. But this hallway might be the showstopper of the whole castle. An entire gallery of stained glass, brought over from Europe, glowing floor to ceiling. Just off the residences, there's this garden courtyard, and it's easily the calmest spot on the hill. You'll forget you're standing on top of a museum, on top of a battlefield, in the middle of a city over 20 million people. And rising over the garden, the tower, the Caballero Alto. This is the single highest point on the hill, the old lookout. From here, they could see everything coming. Today, it just means the best view in Mexico City is right above your head. Well, that's the castle. But we're not done walking. Because remember that straight shot of the avenue Maximilian built from his front door? We're going to use it exactly like he did. Straight down Reforma to one of the most famous monuments in Mexico, the Angel of Independence. It's about a half-hour walk, and honestly, on this street, that is the point. Let's go find the angel. Get you